Hello and welcome to the Johnversations Podcast. As always, I'm your host, John Connor, saying thank you for spending a little bit of time with us this week. Super happy to be back. We've been off for 2 weeks. We rounded out our October shows, and then kid got sick, dad got sick, mom got sick, just the life of a parent. So super happy to be back with you. Super excited for today's show. Before we get into that, if you were a new listener, thank you so much for taking time to check us out. Hopefully you like what you hear. We're able to call you a part of the family going forward. If you are one of our regular listeners, you guys come back every week, you're sharing the shows, things like that. Just wanted to say thank you for your love, your support. Appreciate you being here. Whether you're an old listener or a new listener, again, make sure you're following us on the socials. We are on Facebook at Johnversations. We are on Instagram at Johnversations and on Twitter at @Johnversation. Find us on those socials or take a second, go into the show notes. All the links are there. Definitely want you to be a part of the show. We want to hear what you think, who you like to see on, your favorite guests, things like that. We're going to get back into the questions from the internet, things of that nature. So your feedback is important. And if you're liking what you hear, man, share it with your friends. Let your friends know, hey, I listen to this podcast, think it's all right. Maybe you'd like it. Feel free to share it. We want to get in front of as many people as we can. It's going to help us grow and help us to continue to put out as many shows as we can for you guys. So thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. Hope you guys are happy. Hope you're healthy. Hope you're feeling strong. Hope your families are well. Let's talk a little bit about this week's guest. My guest today, two-time returning champion. She is an actor, comedian, very funny comedian. One of my favorite Instagram accounts, one of my favorite people to follow. She's a podcaster. Her new podcast, Chase Your Enthusiasm, is available now. We're going to be sitting down with the very funny, the very talented, the extremely big-hearted Miss Chase O'Donnell. It was a really fun conversation. Got into a lot of stuff that I wasn't expecting. But Chase is just a wonderful, wonderful human being, and I'm very excited for you guys to hear it. So again, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for, the love. And again, just happy to be back. So let's jump into this week's episode. Chase O'Donnell, thank you so much for coming back. I am so happy to have you. This is your second time. So first, let me say thank you for coming back, and just such a pleasure. I was telling you a little before, I was so excited all week to be able to get down or sit down and get to talk to you. So thank you for being here. And
thank you. I'm so happy to be back. And I don't know if you put out a video version, but I think we have to give a shout out to your shirt again, which I'm wearing. Wash your hands.
That is mid or right, I guess mid-pandemic t-shirt, and it is one of people who buy it, that's the one that they like, and you and your sister both are wearing it all the time, and it just whenever I see it pop up on Instagram, it just melts my heart.
London got it, and London's so stylish, and I was like, wait, I love that shirt. So then of course I got it. We both wore it. We went to the Rolling Stones concert. We both wore it.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
We love this shirt.
Well, and I really like them too.
Just a couple weeks ago. I
really like them too because each one is is different. So it's not like the same tie. The art is the same, but the tie-dye pattern is a little bit different on each one.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of unique in its own way. But thank you so. Like I said, every once in a while, I'll see you post something or London will post something, and you'll have the shirt, and I'm like, hell yeah, that's awesome. So thank you so much.
You can never go wrong with a tie-dye shirt.
Oh no,
and the message is just so appropriate. Wash your hands.
For me, I like tie-dye, but if I wear tie-dye, I think people just, having the beard, and especially with my hair being a little scruffy, I think people just think I have pockets full of patchouli if I have tie-dye on. So I have to avoid it unless I'm cleaned up a little bit, but I'm right there with you. I did you ever make them when you were a little kid, at school and stuff, tie all the rubber bands? And
I think I've done it once. Yeah. As a kid.
Yeah, my mom hated it because we would do it at school, and they gave you the white gloves, the rubber gloves to wear, so it didn't get it. But you would have it on your wrist, past because kids were just dunking it, going hard in the paint. So
Did you hand tie-dye this?
No, the company that we I get those from, they do the tie-dye, but as a little kid, my mom was always just like, "Oh, it's field day at school. You guys are tie-dyeing shirts? Like, great. You're going to come home and wash in gasoline." So
you're no stranger to a self tie-dye shirt.
No, not at all. Well, one of the reasons I was super excited to have you on again is because when we first sat down to talk, it was, again, the pandemic was just kind of starting to ramp up.
I think it was 2019. Was it 2020?
No, I think it was. I
think it was end of 2019.
Was it? Oh my God, really?
Maybe beginning of 2020.
Yeah, because I think it was like just becoming a thing. You know what I mean?
You know what? You're right. Because London got this shirt like right after.
Yeah, I think it was just kind of becoming a thing.
Yeah, it was the beginning.
Well, because if I remember correctly, I was doing things over. I started doing the podcast over like Zoom and stuff because of COVID. And I was going back and looking, and I was like, oh, that was like my peak crazy. I was cutting my own hair the way I had a hat on because I was like, I'm not leaving the house. But I wanted to ask you, like, you know, you're somebody who lives to be on the road. Like, you like being in different places and making people laugh. And how has it felt for you? I mean, obviously we're not back to like the type of normal that we would like to be at, but like, what was that feeling like for you when you're like, I'm getting on a plane and I'm going to do a show? And
we started back on tour at the beginning of February 2021. So it was like in February, it was right after the huge spike. It seemed really like crazy to be on an airplane and travel. And then the show I did, like, people were inside, some people were wearing masks. It seemed really crazy in February. Now I've gotten very used to it, but like, I'd say February through June, April, May, June was like, it still felt like we were very much in a pandemic. I've also been going to a lot of cities that are very relaxed about the mask mandate and the pandemic in general. So it's a crazy juxtaposition because I live in LA where like we still wear masks everywhere. You can't go into a grocery store without a mask. You have to wear a mask. And that's just LA, because I was in Orange County yesterday and no one was wearing masks there, which is only like an hour away. But in LA, it is full on masks. So, it's just crazy then going to these different states and cities where it's as if COVID doesn't even exist. So it's a little escape every time I
shout
go on
out
the road.
Zanies in Nashville. like just going downtown, you're like, oh, it's like nothing ever happened here. So
and truly we've only been doing places that, like, I think because when Christina booked the tour, shout out to Christina P, who I opened for, she booked the tour at the beginning of 2021 when like she could only book places that were like open. So it's been just like a lot of places that it seems like the pandemic doesn't exist, and it is a little like, oh, okay, this is a nice escape.
Yeah, and it was weird too because there was like that 2-week period like after the vaccines rolled out where everyone was like, COVID's gone, and it just seemed, in
June.
Yeah, I was like not wearing I was like, I'm vaxxed up. I'm going to
so for store. You too.
Yeah, I was like,
same with us here.
Everything's great, and then it was like 2 weeks, and I was like, nope.
Same with us. Okay, I didn't realize it was like that in Tennessee also. That's how it was for everyone. Was so excited. I went to the grocery store without a mask, and it was so short lived. Oh
yeah, you're just skipping through the cereal aile, just
Oh, it was so nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird, and with having, my wife and I were both vaccinated, but with having a 3-year-old, it's there's no vaccine, and kids are rebounding fairly well from, but we still want to try to avoid her getting it if possible, and also like when we go someplace, we don't want to make her put a mask on and then like us not have one on.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of like, we look at it like solidarity, brother. Like,
yeah.
That's gone.
Aw, you guys are good parents.
We try to be. She's gonna be messed up somehow. But,
we all are.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do to stop that.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I want to talk about that in a little bit here because I want to get into your new podcast because I've been very much enjoying it, and that kind of ties into that. But I did want to ask, so I have to tell you, you are hands down one of my favorite comedians on Instagram. I mean, one of my favorite comedians in general, but I love following your page because your ideas are so creative, and especially during the pandemic, it's like you found these ways to still authentically like be you and present
is so
that.
Nice. Thank you. Because I don't feel that way. So that's really cool to hear that. So thank you so much.
No, you're so welcome. And like I'm telling you, like I've had your page up and I've literally run into the kitchen and been like, Carrie, you have to look at this. It's so fun. So like
that's so nice.
Well, no, I thank you for doing it because, you were one of the things that you do are one of the things that actually got me through the pandemic in a big way, where it was like I was just looking for something like lighthearted and fun because everything you read was just so dark and it was never going to end. So you were like that little like ray of sunshine over the hill.
Stop it. That's too nice. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm so glad that it made you smile.
Well, I hope I'm not embarrassing you by speaking my truth, but I want to.
No. Oh my gosh.
But
making me feel, because sometimes I post things and I'm like, is this social suicide? Is this so embarrassing? And I have to just like be like, just post it. So thank you for saying that. I never know.
You're welcome. And like I said, it seems to be like so you did the one video of you like doing stand up in your living room during the pandemic, and like you're just in your pajamas. You're just like, thank you. And then the other thing, there was two things specifically I wanted to talk to you and kind of ask where the idea came from. But
okay,
the first one is your dance recreations are amazing. They're again like some of my favorite things on the internet. So first, where did that idea come from? And I guess second, like it seems to have gained, like I see people tagging you in these dances all the time. So what is that?
Great
like?
Questions. Okay. So it was April, I think. Christina and I were in Phoenix, and Christina posted a guy dancing at the beach in a Speedo, and it was very unflattering, but he had great dance moves. I'm so sorry. My phone keeps dinging and I put it on airplane mode.
Oh, that's okay.
Let me just put it on sleep mode here. Okay. So Christina posted this wacky video of a guy dancing and was like, thanks for coming out to the shows. And between shows, when Christina's on stage, I have some downtime. I have like an hour. And I was like, I'm going to learn that dance. So I just learned the dance for fun. And I showed it to Christina and she went wild. Let me tell you, she's my biggest fan. She went wild and she said, you've got to post this. And she reposted it. And so slowly but surely, it wasn't like regularly, but if there was like a dance, she'd tag me in and then I'd learn it. And I've started doing it a little more regularly. But honestly, a lot of times I'm like, I really want to do this dance, but there's full on costume here. And I don't have the wardrobe and situation, like the environment. Right. So I think I have to get over that and just start recreating dances and not worry about having the right outfit. Well, I could do a lot more.
That is one of my favorite things about it though, is like, not only are you matching the dance moves, you're like trying to match. Like you're actually trying to recreate that particular moment, which
so we like the costumes.
Oh my! I think it's so funny.
Okay.
The dancing is great. Do the dances as well. I mean, do it. You're the artist. You do it however.
Okay.
I just want to tell you what I enjoy about it.
Thank you. This is a good brainstorm sesh.
Oh my God, they're so funny though. Like, and I'm always like, whenever you post a story, I'm like, Okay. Is there another one? I'm like, okay, no, she's getting into West Side Story.
Oh yeah, that was last night.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I love the other thing that I really like that you do is you've been taking these old timey, like really offensive songs. And I mean, not like they're not like I feel like they
miss the mark. They miss the mark.
Well, they're slightly sexist or
nowadays it would never fly.
Right. But
yeah,
you do reaction videos to them. I guess the way that I interpret it, and tell me if I'm interpreting it wrong, but like you do reaction videos to it, but you make it again almost like a period piece. So like if the music video is in black and white, like you're sitting in black, like you've got the black and white filter.
Yes.
And then just kind of seeing your face as you realize what's being said in the lyric is like. Do
you have any more songs that are offensive? Do you have any good ones?
I will look for them. My daughter is a weirdo. So in our house, it has been Monster Mash since the beginning of October. We're still listening to Monster Mash.
Honestly, one of the greatest songs of all time.
Oh my God.
I listen to it year round as well.
It's so good. We listen to that. We listen to Purple People Eater. She is really into, we showed her Hocus Pocus this year. Oh, she loved I Put a Spell on You.
Oh, she has a good taste in everything.
I told my wife, I was like, she's going to be a Halloween kid. And she's like, she will not be like you. She will not.
That is so funny.
Holiday.
You know, I have a song about being a people pleaser, and I did it to the tune of Purple People Eater.
No, I did not know that.
She was a nervous wreck, scared to heck, strong appeaser, people pleaser.
Can I promote it? Because I'll work that in the rotation.
Okay. I've been doing it live on the tour. So once I stop doing that, I'll get it out there.
I want to get it out there before.
Yeah, because the problem is, the problem with comedy is people don't like to hear the same jokes twice. So you got to keep them under wraps. Isn't that just a shame?
Oh yeah. Well, and it's, before all the Louis C.K. stuff broke, he did it was in 2017. He did the special 2017, and then we went and saw him in Nashville, and it was the special. So it was like,
he did it. He did the same thing.
Yeah, like, we just watched this on now. Michelle was the opener, which was great because she's hilarious, but, and it was still cool to see, but it was, and like parts were different and things like that. But like
he released the special and then
was like touring the special. Yeah.
That's a bummer, but that's the problem because like we're almost done with this tour. It ends in January and then we start the new tour in February and we're going to a lot of the same places. And I have to come up with so much material because it's overwhelming. It's too much. Well, but Christina's already working on her next material because she knows, it's coming right up.
Yeah, and I'm sure, with her date, and I mean, you work pretty much the same schedule for the you know what I mean? Like as for as long as you're out on the road and putting in the work. I was kind of curious because I don't think we really talked about this last time, but as far as, your stand-up, what is that process like for you? Like you sit down, are you like on a laptop and you're a writer, or like you have to get up and kind of work out the ideas?
I wish I had a process, but I don't. Most of the time, I will be living my life and some things like, oh, that's funny. Like I was at a family reunion and our little, my cousin's baby was there and everyone was saying, good job. Oh my God, she's so amazing. She's eating, she's breathing. And I was like in the car driving home, I thought that was funny. So on my 2-hour drive, I just talk to myself and record myself and try to come up with oh, why aren't they applauding me? I got out of bed this morning. I just I riff by myself, usually on a drive or a walk. And I record myself so I don't forget. But then it usually takes me a while to go back to the recording and actually sit down and make it a joke. But I'll just like get inspired by something and then I have to go on a walk or a drive.
Well, I like that though, because it's almost like you're building, like, you know, you're on that 2-hour drive, like you're building the house essentially. You're like, okay, let me, you know, put up the studs and the drywall, and then, you know, when you then sit down, it's like, okay, now I'm doing like the interior, like now I'm making this house a home. Like,
yeah, and then it makes my drives feel productive because I feel like I'm always doing long drives, especially in LA with traffic. But like tomorrow, I'm going to Disneyland with London. For her birthday. And I was like, okay, we're going to be in really long lines. I'll use that time to come up with jokes. So like I try to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. If I'm like walking somewhere or driving somewhere or waiting, or that's when I'll do it.
Yeah, well, and Disneyland sounds like a good, and by the way, happy birthday, London. I know this will probably come out before your actual birthday, but happy birthday. But Disneyland kind of seems like the place too. Like I'm a people watcher, so like it just seems like a place where like for someone like me it would be just kind of a smorgasbord to see like all the different types of from all over the country who are there. You know, probably some interesting finds. It's like a thrift store of people almost. You know what I mean? Yeah,
and I'm sure people would love to hear about a Disneyland trip if something, I don't know, happens. It's relatable.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, we're my sister just went. They went for the 50th anniversary, which I was.
Oh, no. The 50th anniversary was when we were in middle school.
Was it?
It's got to be the 60th.
No, maybe.
It's got to be. I was there for the 50th.
Okay.
Years ago.
You sound like a Vietnam vet. You're like,
wait, maybe it's the 75th. Maybe it's the 75th.
It was some anniversary, but they were they were supposed to go before we were all supposed to go to Florida together in.
Oh, it was Disney World.
Disney World, yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's the 50th.
Yeah,
okay, I'm talking Disneyland.
The OG. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were all supposed to go to Florida in October of 2020. And like everybody like chipped in. We're like, yeah, it's going to be great. Family vacation. And then they're like, nope, not happening. So
was Disney World closed, Stephen? Was it even open?
No, I don't believe so. I think it was like completely shut down. But they were lucky they were lucky enough to be able to push out the reservation, and Disney still honored it for them, which was real nice of them to do. So.
Oh, good. It's crazy to think about November 2020. Like we had just had an election. Like 2020 was nuts.
Oh my God.
So much happened.
Yeah, it's it felt like it was like the longest year and the shortest year, and it almost felt like you lived like a decade in a year. Like there was just so much pandemic, and then
the world changed and we lived through it.
And like, hey, let's throw in an insurrection, and let's see if you guys can handle that. It was just it was intense.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I was like, oh, we talked in 2019. It totally was 2020, and the year just seemed my time is so warped. I don't recall the timeline of things.
Oh,
it's so crazy.
Having a kid makes it worse because you're like, oh, was that last week or last month? Like,
yeah, really.
I was just looking at pictures, and because I was telling you before, like my daughter got sick, I got sick, my wife got sick, and we were looking at pictures on my phone because that's like the kids are like, we love iPhones, we love iPads. She's probably out there playing the iPad now, but she likes to look at pictures on my phone, and I went back and I was like, that was the 29th of October. Like you were sick on the 29th of October, and it is like the 14th of November. Like
I know. I was just thinking about that because the last time I posted on Instagram, this is like a weird way that I thought about it, but I was like, oh my God, I posted on Halloween. It's mid-November. Like I thought Halloween was yesterday. Where did the time go?
No, it's just so, I don't know. That's another thing that I really like about you, like your Instagram page, like your social media presence, stuff like that too, is like you seem to only post things when it's like, I think this is funny, and it isn't like I'm just trying to put like a bunch of filler up there and things like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's two ways to do it, because I hear that if you like post a lot, there's more opportunities for like the algorithm or whatever. But yeah, I don't do that. I just post it when I have something I want to share.
Yeah. Well, you see people that are like, well, you got to post at like 9 a.m. because that way when everybody's getting, 9 a.m. Central, because that way, everybody on the West Coast is getting up.
Yeah.
They see it when they get up, and then, other people are having brunch on the East Coast, and like, I've got a guest on. I'd like to let you know that there's
it's too much. It's too much. I get too overwhelmed. Social media is like, it used to be when Instagram started, I used to post whatever I wanted. I didn't think about it. It didn't matter. And now you have to like think about, I don't know. I hate social media, but I use it, but I hate it.
Well, I think that's a really good segue, because I did want to talk to you about Chase Your Enthusiasm, which I am a couple episodes into it. Unfortunately working from home and then having
oh my gosh, listen, the fact you've listened to 2, that's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, it's I used to work 45 minutes from my house, so I got to be like, I'm going to listen to
this is my podcast time.
Yes. And now it's like my commute is from my bedroom to my 3 steps on the hallway. So like I carve out time. I tell my wife, like, I'm going to the grocery store because I some beverages. So I can listen to like 20 minutes of my podcast. And I've worked you into the rotation.
There's so many. So thank you for working me in.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I legitimately am a fan of everything that you do. And so like if I can support it, or even if it's just listening, and I like watching on YouTube as well. The one that I finished, I'm a little behind, but I finished episode 2, and we were talking about social media.
Yes, and I did a stay off social media 10 p.m. to 10 a.m.
So talk to me a little bit about, and I know that you cover it in the podcast, but for people who are checking this out who may not have gone and listened to it yet, like you bring up a lot of good points as far as, and I found it very relatable, especially coming off the pandemic, but just like the anxiety that it can bring. Because during COVID, I was just like, where's the misinformation? I'll just get angry at people who were posting like conspiracy theories, and like, it just seemed like I was being fed stuff that like made me incredibly anxious. And then, the point that you made that I really liked, that I think we hear a lot, but I honestly think that you made it in a very like eloquent and kind of like, this is the root of it. But you had said that like, we look at these people's Instagram pages, and what we're seeing are like the best moments of their life. Like we're seeing a snapshot of like these victories, but we're not seeing.
Look at me, eye rolling. I hate it. I mean, it's good. I mean, I'm glad people share the highlights. Whereas Facebook, we hear it all, but which is also no good. But yeah, I guess. So for those that haven't heard Chase Your Enthusiasm, the idea behind it was, I always say that I like want to do things, and then maybe I'll do it for 2 days, and then I've lost the motivation and I don't do it. So this was just a self-accountability podcast to hold myself accountable for the things that I say I want to do, like working out every day, journaling every day, self-care every day, like, taking a bath or just doing stuff for me. And one of them was staying off social media, because I feel like the idea behind it was, if I am off social media, at least from like 10 p.m. to 10 a.m., I'm not in bed scrolling at night or scrolling in the morning, that I'd be more productive in my life and stop comparing myself to so many people, which I do. I just scroll and I think I have a pity party and I think, oh my gosh, everyone's doing so well. I'm so far behind. I'm not good enough. All those thoughts creep in when I'm on social media, which is so unhealthy. And so that was my challenge. I did it for a week. I haven't really stuck to it. So I have to get back to it. But it helped for sure.
Well, can I tell you when you said, am I cool now? I'm doing drugs. I laughed. I was in my car and I just laughed so hard.
Oh, yeah. I'm addicted.
Well, you're right. And like I find myself doing the same thing. It's just like, oh, I don't know what to do for the next, 5 minutes. So let me just pull. Like that's like my go-to.
My go-to is just pulling out my phone and just like scrolling. And it's a habit. I don't even mean to. I just do it.
Well, and let me ask you this. Do you know anyone, because my wife is this person, she is not on social media. She has a Pinterest, I think. And
oh, I love Pinterest.
She has Pinterest and she has Snapchat. And I think that like, but there's no Instagram. There's no Facebook.
Good for her. Honestly, I haven't been on Snapchat since 2012.
Well, we have so when Snapchat first came out, I was like, there's no way I'll ever get on this because it's for creep dudes to get pictures from ladies. And then it became like kind of cultural thing. But we have my family lives in Michigan. So like they'll snap pictures of the babies and stuff like that. But,
that's cute.
Yeah. Like, do you have anybody in your life though, that is
that isn't on social media? No.
She's like a unicorn to me for some reason.
Although every now and then, because I never ask for people's number. Maybe it's a millennial thing. I ask for what's your Instagram? Let's stay friends. Like, let's be in touch. What's your Instagram? And it's always really weird to me when someone's like, oh, I don't have an Instagram. And I'm like, how do I connect? How do I stay in touch with you then? I'm not going to call you. So I don't know. I get overwhelmed. I get anxiety with like, oh my God, I'm going to have to text this person if I want to be in their life still instead of DM them.
And that was, that was another really good point that and I was listening to it as I was preparing for the podcast this week. And you were like, somebody will text me and ask me like, hey, are you busy? Like,
oh my God, don't text me. Oh my God.
I was like, oh man, I literally like DM'd her and was like, hey, are you busy? I was like, oh my God.
Oh, no, you asked me so far in advance. You know what I mean? Like I was able to, this was on my calendar for, I feel like months. No, I get really stressed though when I've actually done a really good, I got a therapist this year.
Dude, me
too.
too.
And the therapist has been a lifesaver and she's just like been holding my hand and is like, okay, you're doing 2 million things. And she's like been with me step by step, like cutting things out of my life. And I'm at a place right now where I feel like, oh my gosh, I've cut so much out. I get to pick what I want to do instead of people telling me what I'm doing. And I'm like, okay, let me add this to my already busy schedule. It's really wild. I've never had this feeling before. But I'm for the first time, like picking the things I want to do instead of being told what I'm doing. And like, I've said no to so many things and it was a Sunday today. I usually would have plans. I had no plans. I gardened. I watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And I got to tell you, I'm doing really well with the like not being busy.
Well, and it feels good to like be able to set boundaries, right? Like it feels good to be able to be like,
yeah, it's really scary for me. That's why I had a hard time with it because I'm really, I'm a nervous wreck, scared to heck, people pleaser. But but I'm practicing.
I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah, I'm saying no slowly but surely, and I'm getting better at it. And I think it's good. I'm 30 now, so I think it's time I take charge of my life.
You young baby. You've got so much.
What?
You young little baby.
How old are you? I thought we were the same age.
No, I'm 30. I'll be 30. I'm 37. I don't.
Oh, we're the same.
I'm closer to 40.
We're the same.
It's scary. My hair is turning. I look like J. Jonah Jameson.
I'm going to be 40 next week. I can't. It's too much. Time is going by so fast.
I'm 65.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I want to ask, and obviously, like, I don't want, I would never be like, so like, let's talk about it. But like, has it felt good? I know for me, when I was going, like, I had this huge, like I was terrified of COVID. Terror. I was like an inch away from like boarding up the windows, and like I was ordering from like Shipt like 3 times a week because I was like, they're gonna run out of stuff, and like my wife, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, I don't like. It's just, we have to be safe. And then I finally was like, I need to talk to somebody because like there's something going on with me. And I like what I found out through talking to her was that like I was terrified that like now that I have a kid in this world, something like COVID is going to take me out, and then I'm not going to have the opportunity to be the dad that I said I was always going to.
John, that's too sweet.
Well, it's like that was like a big like I love my dad, but we don't have the greatest relationship, and so that was always a big thing. Was like I want to be the kind of dad that I didn't have. And so like this thing like looming over that could take you away was just, so once I figured that out, oh, okay, that like I can quit cutting my own hair.
Yeah. Oh,
like, has it felt good? And like I said, obviously I wouldn't ask you to be like, so what were those issues? But like, has it felt good? Like being able to identify some of the reasons.
Oh
like,
my God.
Personality is
well, I've tried 2 different therapists before this one, and I didn't get it. I was like, why does everyone like therapy? The first therapist never remembered my name when I would, and she'd always have like, she'd double book me. I was like, what is this? I told her I was a comedian. She was like, oh, they all end up in the loony bin. And she's like, I've had comedians as clients in the past, and they ended up in the loony bin. And I just was like, I don't understand this. This is awful. So I ended that therapist. Then I got a therapist through BetterHelp. And this was like mid 2020 because I just had so much anxiety. And this therapist, and it's BetterHelp is that like app where you can like.
It's on like every podcast. It's like.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, are they a sponsor of you?
No.
Okay, good. Because I'm not going to talk good about it. They
fuck you, BetterHelp.
Yeah. She was like, just honestly, we typed back and forth. It wasn't even like a phone call, but she was like, have you ever tried doing a vision board? I think that's what you need. And honestly, I was like, I'm done, because I've done 700,000 vision boards. That's all I do is make vision boards. And I was like, this is not the advice I need, because clearly the vision boards aren't working. I've been doing them since 2006.
Right.
So then I cut her out. So then it was 2021, like January. And I was not in a good like mental, I was so just anxious, and with stand-up, having not done it for a year, I was like, what am I doing with my life? Where am I what is happening? It just was too overwhelming. And thank God for my mom just being like, this isn't okay. You're gonna see a therapist. And I'm seeing a therapist who's extremely expensive. But let me tell you, literally session 1, she was like, all right, this is your problem. She said, I'm an avoider. I avoid confrontation and having to like say no and all that stuff. She said, all right, and I'm just going to hold your hand through it all, and we're going to get there. And literally from like January to now, it's almost been a year, but like I'm a new person. It's unbelievable. And I get why people go to therapy now, because I didn't get it those past 2 times. I was like, this isn't working.
Yeah, I think it like I went when I was a kid, when my parents were getting divorced. I remember they were like, you guys should probably go to therapy. And then I hadn't really been. And the lady that I was the lady that I've been seeing it's through Live Health, which is, it's kind of like BetterHelp, but it's like you can do like video.
But it's better.
Right. Yeah, it's better BetterHelp.
I'm putting down BetterHelp, but I'm sure it's great for a lot of people.
No, I
just didn't like the vision board. I got really turned off about the vision board.
We can say whatever we want about BetterHelp. My hope is that Purple Mattress will still come through.
Yeah, let's get Purple Mattress.
Yeah, but it was like, it's. So are you doing virtual, or are you doing like, are you going?
It's been Zoom the whole time.
For me, I found that a little bit more comfortable because, like I do the podcast. So I was literally just like.
Me too. And I found that like, I like it better because you don't have to drive somewhere and take up all this time. I have my little cup of tea and sit at my desk, and like, I think I'm more vulnerable maybe because I'm like, there's a screen and I'm not in person. And in person, I'm very good at being like, how can I make you happy? And what do I need to say to make sure? I don't know. There's something about being on the computer is easier.
Yeah, I always had the fear like I was going to like see somebody I knew. Like, oh, there he goes. That's a therapist's office. Like there's something wrong.
Right? John, we have similar issues. I got anxiety. That's what that's called.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know though. It's been really helpful, at least for me, to be able to like identify those things. And then like, I don't know, is it easier for you to like catch it in the moment now? So like for me, like,
yeah,
I was talking to my wife about it. I am really trying, in, not that our communication is bad, but like I realize that I'm a passive aggressive person. So I'm like, I push it down and I'm like, you know what? It's fine.
Passive aggressive is scary.
Yeah. And then like 6 weeks later, I'm like, well, I emptied the dishwasher 12 times. And you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's like,
that's how I was in my relationships.
Yeah. So I'm working on in that moment, just being like,
saying what you need to say right then and there.
Yeah. So has it been, do you find it kind of rewarding to be able to be like, oh, I'm in this pattern?
Yeah. Look, I have this Post-it right here at my desk. It says, be authentic. You can't read it. Be authentic. Because I'm just having to catch myself people pleasing. And I'm catching myself being like, okay, that's not authentic. And my like prayer and my like, my goal in life now is just to be authentic. And I've learned that you don't have to be mean when you say no. It's actually nicer to say no if that doesn't work for you, instead of leading things on, leading people on. But yes, I've been catching it. I see this pattern now. I'm like much more aware of it. She also gave me so many books to read that were really helpful. I read Codependent No More, which was really good for me because I didn't think I was codependent, but hey, I related. And then they were like saying the character traits of someone. I was like, check. Wow. Drama of the Gifted Child was one of them. I don't know if you've heard about that one.
I have not, but it sounds like it would be it sounds like it would be interesting because
it's about like putting feeling like you're loved if you're successful instead of just being, so that was a good, I don't know. She gave me so many books that were really spot on. And it's all just like the reading and the talking about it, all of it. I'm a therapy fan, I gotta say.
Yeah, it's I was always like, you're just spending money for someone to be like, and what do you think about that? And so I'm going, and then I was like, oh, like no, you can actually have like conversations, and it's not just just someone kind of forcing you to analyze yourself. But I think it's also really nice to be able to have a conversation with somebody who has like no stake in the game. You know what I mean? Where, you can talk to this, like I love my wife and I feel like I could talk to my wife about anything, but like when you talk to your wife or your sister or your mom, there's always that fear of like, oh, you know me to my core. And there's like that level of judgment.
Or that like one of my ex from a few years ago, he broke up with me because I was like, he said he turned into my therapist, which I was like, I was putting everything on him. And I swore after that relationship, I was like, I will not put my boyfriend in the position of being the person I vent to and talk to about those things. I'll get professional help for that. They don't need to deal with, it's really heavy to be the person that listens and has to like help you through a situation. So it's nice to have someone else you can pay to be heavy with.
Well, it's so funny because I feel like you and I are kind of living in like this like weird Doctor Who like rotating universe, because I was literally just having a conversation with I'm a very introverted person. That's why I like doing these podcasts. I have, a couple of friends, but like even when I lived in Michigan, it was like my family were the people that I really hung out with. I was never the guy that needed like, a big circle of friends, or like I'm not the guy that like goes out to the bar to like go drink, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I'm just not wired that way. I'd prefer to be at home. Mm-hmm. And I was just talking.
Same.
Yeah. I was like, it must be really hard sometimes that like, she's very extroverted. She has a lot of friends and likes to go out and do things. And I was like, it must be kind of hard to like, for someone who has this big social group, to like be married to someone. Sometimes it's like, well, you're my person. You're the one that I talk to about, you know what I mean? And so it's like, I told her, I was like, I'm going to try to do a better job at making friends, but making friends scares the hell out of it. It's so weird. It's like,
no, listen, see, I'm someone that I do have a large circle, but I'm introverted like you, and it stresses me out too much. Because then, well, for me, at least, a big part of it was like having to say no to plans was really hard for me. So that's why my schedule was always so booked. And my London is someone that doesn't have as wide of a social circle. And it's always greener on the other side. Grass is always greener, because I would love her situation and she would love mine. But I'm like, no.
Right.
It's too much. So if you're an introvert like me, I think it's better to just have your few friends and like one circle. It's easier to manage as an introvert.
Yeah, I like, and maybe this is something I need to like bring up with my therapist, but I should be working out today. But it's just one of those things where like I have, like we do a lot of, we have like friends that like, we're a couple, so we have couple friends and stuff like that. But I always feel weird, like if I was going to call one of the other husbands and be like, "Hey, man, do you want to go do something with?"
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right, because you know them as a couple.
Right, and it's like, then I start getting in my head, and I'm like, well, does this person like actually like me as a person, or do they like me as a package, or like would we be friends if it wasn't for this? And then I'm just like, I'm not going to call them. You know what I mean? So
I'd be the same way. The circling thought. Yeah, bring this up to your therapist.
Well, I'll give you. I'll kick you $30 for the time that you've spent today.
No, because I feel like that's such a common. I go through the same circle of things, and I don't know how we're supposed to deal with it.
We're like two lost ships looking for a light.
Yeah. But honestly, I think that's, what if you're an introvert and enjoy your alone time, I don't think there's any problem with that. And then your wife has a big circle and that's what she likes. This is me being a guru. So you guys are you're doing your own thing, and I think it's healthy and it works.
Yeah, no,
you don't need to force it.
Yeah, no, I mean, we definitely work. It's just, one of those things where, you just, every once in a while, it's hard to like not look at yourself and be like, what are my issues? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's healthy to do that.
Yeah, it is, and And I don't know, I'm happy for you because it's somebody who's been going through like the same thing and trying to like go through this journey of, self-awareness and, getting to know yourself better. Cause I feel like that's really what it is. It's just like at the end of the day, you're like, oh, I kind of understand who I am.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people went through this in the past year and a half because we've been forced to.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, it's things that, I don't know if I would have ever confronted those feelings if it wasn't the situation that we're in. So
yeah, we've been forced to confront, because I would have just kept going a million miles a minute without slowing down and being like, oh, what's going, I'm being busy so that I don't deal with whatever's, I'm just busy. Right. So I can avoid it. Yeah.
Like filling up your schedule so you don't have to tackle like whatever
life
the issue is. It's like, I'm too busy to think about that.
I'm too busy. Yeah. Yeah. Well, oh my God, nailed it on the head.
Yeah. Well, I did want to ask you this because I had to kind of transition a little bit because I want to make sure I'm being respectful of your time, and I appreciate you coming in and hanging out. But
Umesh, I'm so enjoying this talk.
Well, one of my favorite things that you posted, and I think it was funny to me because it just seems so absurd. But there was a comparison of you and Pete Davidson.
Yes.
This is my theory. Okay.
Okay.
Pete Davidson, I'm a fan. He looks like a kid like I would have grown up with.
Uh-huh.
Like the tattoos, like being tall, skinny, kind of like sickly looking.
Dangly.
That he has kind eyes.
Oh.
And that's the comparison.
It was so funny because I posted this picture and people that I didn't know were posting comments being like, I thought that was Pete Davidson. I had to take a second look. And I was like, wait, is that my doppelganger? I had no idea. And then when I did the side-by-side comparisons of the photos, I saw it. I did see it.
Like you'd be like cousins or something.
Yeah. There's some resemblance.
It's just like, because I was looking at it, I was like, I don't see, and you're right. I think it was when you put the side by side up where I was like, okay, like maybe like, they share.
And everyone I told, because I didn't post that video for a long time. I would just randomly bring that up every now and then. Like, people think I look like Pete Davidson, and people would just be like howling, laughing. Like, that is so funny. And Christina told me to do a video. My roommates were like, you got to do this. So I was finally like, okay, let me post about this because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it was, like I said, I definitely did not have to do, and again, maybe it's, I've been following you for a while and I was really bummed out when you came back to Nashville and we couldn't come because, with the kid and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
When you guys come back again, things finally seem to be settling here.
I think we'll be back in 2022.
Good. I will definitely be masked up. I will wear like one of those flaming lips, like bubble suits if I need to.
Hopefully in 2022, everyone's vaccinated and the world's back to normal.
Yeah. You moved down.
I laugh.
Yeah, it's so strange because you'd mentioned like, oh, in like LA, like everyone's still wearing their masks and stuff like that. Like there are times where I feel like I am the only liberal in Tennessee, and like I like have my mask on, and you can literally feel people being like you liberal cuck, like with
if I go anywhere outside of LA and wear a mask, I get judged. It's very like, oh, you believe in wearing a mask.
Yeah. Or like you have a mask on your baby. Like
yeah. It's like it's looked down upon, which is really terrible.
Yeah. And like I said, for us, it's more just like it's solidarity, man. It's like, yeah, the kid's got to wear one because she can't get vaccinated. And so like I'm not gonna
I have to say, the year 2020, I was getting sick every month. In 2019, I was sick every month because I was traveling so much. 2020, I didn't get sick once. And I was like, oh, because I'm washing my hands every minute and wearing a mask. No wonder I'm not getting sick. And then when the world started opening back up this 2021 summer, I got COVID and I'm vaccinated. I got a terrible cold, one like you, similar. And like I'm starting to get sick again because I'm not wearing a mask as much, washing my hands. I've been more, God, I got to wash my hands like the shirt says. I've been more relaxed. And I was like, you know what? The masks, they prevent you from getting sick. That's for sure. Yeah. Even if it's not COVID.
Yeah, and everybody's like,
you're not catching colds.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, you just want to wear masks forever, like some communist state. And I'm like, well, no, not really. But I mean, like, it has been nice. And that's the other thing too.
It's been nice.
I think like
you don't have to wear makeup as a girl.
Well, and I think like people also forget, or even if you do, it's only this part. You know, I don't know the struggles, but like I've seen my put on makeup, and it's like it's an endeavor. So it's got to be nice to just be like, oh, I'm wearing a mask. I'll at least just do like my mascara or eyeliner or whatever. But like, it's I don't know, man. It's just it's you forget that there's other illnesses out there besides COVID. Like as soon as my daughter got sick, we're like, we got to take her for a COVID test, right? Like,
yeah. And then it wasn't COVID and you're like, oh yeah, other colds exist.
Yeah. And they're coming back harder now because last year, they were like, you took a year off.
They're excited.
Hey, it's the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's the playoffs. That's so true. Because I was working on Curb Your Enthusiasm a lot of the pandemic. We were wearing KN95s every day, but for like 17 hours a day. It was so intense. And then I started my day every day of 2020 with a COVID test.
Oh, geez.
That's how I started my day. And I wore the KN95. So I feel like I really had an experience with the masks and the COVID tests. It was 8 months that every day I got a nose up swab thing, 5 a.m. and then like 16 hours, 17 hours of a KN95. And it was a lot. That was too much.
What?
Too much for me.
Used to it at any point, like month 4, were you like, okay, I'm used to this. Anytime I've like during, like I thought I probably had like 8 or 9 during like 2020. And then we've done like 1 or 2 at home ones so far this year, just like when we weren't feeling well to be, but it never got in out of those 8 or 9, like it never got easier and my nose bleeds. Cause I like just there.
Yeah.
So, like by month 4, were you no biggie or?
I think it got easier. It just became like brushing my teeth. It's like, okay, time for the nose swab every day. So yeah, it got easier. I just worked on a show last week. It was the first time I was back on set since Curb, and same thing. I had to wear the mask and the nose swab, and now they're doing double nose swabs. So they did one, both nostrils, and they're like, all right, in the second, because Eddie Murphy's in the movie, and he does not want anyone getting COVID on his set. He's like, there will be nobody on my set getting COVID. So he's just been extra, extra safe. So everyone in the crew has to get 2 COVID tests in the morning.
But he doesn't want the DL Hughley to happen. That was at Zany's where he just like was on stage with COVID and just dropped. Just was like, let me tell you something. And then just hit the floor, just passed out.
What?
Yeah, at Zany's in Nashville last year.
Who did that?
DL Hughley.
Oh my God. He passed out?
Yeah, on the stage at Zany's, just dropped.
What did the audience do? Were you there?
No, I was not there. This was mid-COVID. I was like,
what happened?
Breathing in a paper bag somewhere. Like,
what did they do?
But
I can't imagine. Did they think it was part of the act?
No, I think everybody immediately because like they played the video on the news and stuff, but like I think everybody was just like, oh my God. And then like, because we had talked about it, like you had somebody faint in the audience of one of your shows, I think.
Yes.
It was the same, but just in reverse, where everybody was just kind of like, like, what's going on? But then I guess he had to quarantine in a hotel in Nashville for like 2 weeks because
Oh my God. I can't. That's too much.
Yeah.
That's too much. He shouldn't have been performing.
No. I mean, for some people, it's like
the love of the craft, huh?
Yeah. Well, paycheck, I bet too, where it's like,
yeah,
I need to work. I don't got a lot going on. But
oh my God.
I want to ask you this. So like, you go back on the road, right? Cause like, I know for me, in my day job, I work from home. So I didn't, I wore a mask if I went to the grocery store or anything like that. My wife works in mental health. She helps women who are addicted to like opiates and stuff like that, like trying to get them clean and stuff like that. So she had to go into a center. She was, one of the essential workers. She had the little man, like, I've got to go in. And, she was wearing it like 8-9 hours a day. And in August of this year, I hadn't seen my family since September of 2019. So August, we flew home to see everybody. And it was the first time, like, I had my mask on in the airport and on the flight. And like, I was 3 hours in. And I was like, this fucking sucks. And my wife's like, yeah. like,
yeah. That's the thing. When people are like anti-maskers and not wearing it, it's like, you literally have to wear it for like 2 minutes when you go inside and then you can take it off. Whereas like wearing it for all day. And the reason I say KN95 is because KN95s are so intense. You can pour water inside the mask and it won't leak. It's that intense. So like you're breathing in the same oxygen all day long. So I would get so tired, and like it took me a long time to realize like, oh, I'm getting so tired because I'm not getting oxygen. I'm just recycling my own oxygen all day long. So yeah, it's what a piece of cake to just wear it for an hour.
Throw on the cloth one.
Yeah.
I was like 3 hours in. I was like, man,
I don't like this.
I don't think I could handle this.
Yeah.
Was it weird for you when like you got on stage for the first time after and like no mask and you're just like talking into all your faces? Like
that, it wasn't weird because they had a private green room. They like sanitized the mic. I wore my mask up until the stage and I felt far enough away from people. But I did feel weird posting about it because at that time it still was so taboo, at least here, to be doing something with a crowd of people. So I was like posting, but then like on the bottom being like, the crowd was socially distanced. Everyone was in masks. Like I was making sure people knew I wasn't being reckless.
Everyone got 2 COVID tests.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
so it wasn't too weird because they made me feel very safe.
That's good. I just, like, I can't imagine, kind of what we were talking about. Like, I think that aspect of it's talking about like the people pleasing, right? Like the aspect of like, this is something that, I need to learn how to set boundaries and things like that. But then when you look at it from their side, like I grew up playing in bands and like wanting to tour and all that. And it's a lot of it was from like hey, look at me. Like, look at me. Like, look what I can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You laugh, or I want to make you, like, I hope you like the song. You know what I mean?
People please it. Do you like me?
Right. Well,
yeah.
I played the song. What do you think? Or I told this joke, you know what I mean? So it's gotta be kind of interesting to look at it and to say, well, like, yes, obviously this is something I need to work on to like manage in a healthy way. But like without this quality, you wouldn't be in that position where you're on the stage and you're making people laugh and you are afforded the opportunity.
Oh, that's so true. I think it stems from not being popular in middle school and high school and wanting people to be like, oh, I should have been her friend. I don't know. I don't know why I do this. That's one of my theories.
I was Caucasian Shrek. I didn't have a beard. I was very portly. I looked like I'd come out of a bog. But
Caucasian Shrek.
It's just it's just like, I just want somebody to like appreciate me. You know?
Yeah. Validate. Yeah. It's it's an art form, huh? Let me tell you.
For sure. And But like I said, I think kind of going back to what we're talking about, I think that is, you'd mentioned be authentic. And when I see you come up with these ideas, number one, like they, to at least as somebody who is like consuming the content, it seems very authentic to who you are. Like I said, like those videos where they're, if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, and you're just like,
oh, thank you.
That's
very nice to hear. You're making me feel more comfortable about posting.
Well, good. I hope so, because I really enjoy it. And
thank you.
And I don't know. I think what you do is very unique. I think you're, as far as what I'm watching, it definitely feels like you are being authentic. So I just really what you put into the world. So
it's working. Be authentic.
Yeah.
In my terrible Post-it note.
I like it's Hawaii themed. That's part of it. Well, for people who want to check out the podcast or like follow you or see what you're up to or like get tickets, the last time you guys were touring, we did a little ad break in one of the shows to kind of let people know that you guys are out on the road and like where the shows are coming up at. But if people want to kind of follow you or see what you're doing, what's the best way for them to do that?
I think the best way is my Instagram, Chase_O'Donnell, because I post everything there. And then my website too has all the tour dates. It's chaseodonnell.com.
Awesome. And we will put those links in the show notes. So if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, watch on YouTube, go down, click the links, follow Chase. I just want to say, again, thank you so much for being here.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I feel like we could talk for 5 hours.
I know.
It's so easy to talk to you. And thank you so much for having me back on. And that was not anything that I was people pleased into saying yes to. I so enjoy your company and talking with you. So thank you so much for having me.
It is my pleasure. And again, it is 100% my pleasure. You are one of my favorite people. You're one of my favorite comedians, and to have this opportunity is this is the kind of experience that, like, when I started doing the podcast, I was like, this is the kind of person that I hope I can have on, the conversation I can have. So thank you for doing it. Would you stick around?
Thank you, John.
No problem. Would you stick around for a minute after we wrap up?
Oh yeah, of course.
Awesome. Well, guys, this is episode number 67.
Whoa.
Crazy. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, big thanks to Chase O'Donnell for being here, and we will see you guys next week.